All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on our monthly webinar. We do these every month, the third Tuesday of every month. This month, we're talking about unconventional employee benefits. We've all, come to know and love, maybe not love, the traditional benefits package that we all offer, health, dental, vision, disability, all those kind of things. But, nowadays, employees are looking for more. And it is certainly a tough job market out there. So trying to find all sorts of different things to keep us competitive is really important. We certainly know that benefits impact our employees' job satisfaction, and it absolutely helps us with recruiting and retention. Uh, you know, as you're looking at your employee value proposition and you're really trying to attract talent, thinking about what you offer is really important. And certainly, as you're trying to retain your talent, it's important as well, and probably more than ever. Certainly, we know that the benefits go beyond pay, and we're going to look at some of those. Some things that are a little more traditional, some things that are more new age, for example, and we'll kind of go through and talk about a bunch of different things. Certainly perks of the job are certainly something that folks look forward to. Every industry has different perks that they offer, and we'll go through and talk through some of those as well. Uh, and a lot of these unconventional benefits are often less expensive. There are things that you can do that have a bigger impact rather than having those traditional health benefits, which all we all know are increasingly expensive and quite honestly not getting any better. So certainly lots to think about here. Again, when you're talking about your employee value proposition as you're hiring, as you're retaining, all these different things help you differentiate yourself from your competition. And certainly, we know as small business owners that we're competing against much larger budgets with our big corporate friends. And so that's really important to think about ways to differentiate yourself from them as well. A lot of times, flexibility and a supportive employee-centric culture are just as important, if not more important, than anything you can offer them that's going to cost you time or money. So think about those, and we're going to kind of talk in depth about some of those as well. We often hear from our clients that, gosh, I just can't afford health insurance, right? My health insurance for me is about $1,000 a month. And we do offer good plans for our people, but it's incredibly expensive. And, depending on what you're able to share with the employees, that expense could also be shared by the employee. And certainly there's a million different options for health insurance. But what you can do is take a small bite at the apple. Dental and vision insurance are really affordable and they're great first ways to get in. So if you are a new business or you're a small business, often think about those lower cost insurances like dental and vision insurance. Honestly, dental insurance usually ranges between $30 and $50 a month. Vision insurance is usually only $5 to $10 a month. Those are really easy to absorb into a budget uh, and get implemented. They're not anywhere near the cost of something like that health insurance. We're seeing a lot of clients look at kind of teledoctor services or virtual services. There's a service called Healthiest You, which starts at $10 per employee per month. And that just allows essentially virtual care. Those doctors, within reason, can do prescriptions, can, meet with people on, typically urgent care type things. Illnesses, certainly it's not a full emergency room, it's still not a full doctor's office, but it's something, right? It's rather than going to the emergency room for a toothache, maybe you can go to this teledoc and have that service. You're not going to get a full workup or anything, but it is something. You can see healthcare providers on the cheap. If you are a restaurant or whatever business you're in, think about offering discounted or free services, right? We have a lot of clients who are dentists, and I know that all their employees get free dental care. That's just part of their benefit, right? If you're restaurants, free meals. We offer payroll, so we have a couple of employees whose families own businesses. We don't charge for those services. We try to give those things for free when we can, or discounted, right? I mean, maybe it's a cost type thing. If you're an auto shop, hey, we'll do an oil change at cost or whatever. If you don't want to do it completely for free. So there's all sorts of different options and things you can do and mix and match. We also see people trading with other businesses. I know in town here, the restaurant community is really good at this. Everyone throws a year-end or end of summer or Christmas party type thing, and a lot of restaurants will trade gift cards. They'll call and say, "Hey, I'll give you five $25 gift cards if you give me five $25 gift cards, and they give these out at their Christmas parties or holiday parties or end of year parties, whatever they call them. And those are just good ways to support the community, but also kind of get creative with that as well. I know we have a hotel in town who trades rooms with other resorts. So, hey, you want to go to Newport for the week? We'll give you a weekend in Newport, and they'll send one of their employees up for a weekend in Kennebunkport. So, just different things that you can think outside the box as well. If you're a different service provider, think about how you can use those as well. Certainly competitions games, the gamification is certainly more and more popular. Get those gift cards, get those perks. We played bingo as a team, last fall where we had basically anybody that got a bingo got a bonus based on certain things that they did. And now these weren't all salesy type things. Sometimes they were efficiencies or things that they needed to do around the office. Different things to incentivize different ways to make money, kind of things. Just different games make it fun to come to work, make people enjoy it. Certainly career advancement is very important. So any mentorship or career advancement or development opportunities that are available, even shadowing, right? So if someone's new to the company and they want to spend a day with a senior person, hey, I want to learn how to be a chef. I'm gonna, I might be a server today, but I want to spend a few hours shadowing the chef and realize how hard or how easy that is certainly something that you could do. Similarly, management and training programs, leadership development programs, we see those with a lot of clients as well. Even in small businesses, it's not impossible to do. I mean, you're not going to have a million opportunities, but if someone has an interest in something, cross train them in that, help them, develop their skills, and maybe it'll, you're not going to take away someone's job. You're just, you're going to help the organization grow and be stronger. The more people that can do everything is the better. So don't be afraid to handle those things as well. Certainly kind of some low cost wellness and support perks. Always everyone loves the free lunch, the theme days. We have a couple of clients I know that do a spirit week. There's all sorts of different things you can do. I'm not one for getting dressed up on 80s day or anything like that, but that's not me. Some people like that. Certainly lunches, potlucks, anything to get people together. Today we're seeing more and more uh, remote employees. So we see people send DoorDash gift cards, or if there's a restaurant that someone likes, send a gift card to that restaurant so that those remote employees can participate as well. When you're doing your lunch and learns or whatever, bring those remote folks in, and again, get them a DoorDash gift card or get them something like that, a gift card to a local restaurant so that they can participate as well. They don't feel left out because they're remote. So certainly, any wellness competitions, we see a lot of clients doing these wellness type initiatives, whether you're doing lunchtime walks or you're doing recipes or you're doing yoga, if you're adding a gym or gym memberships in there, those all kind of matter. We've seen people do um, massages during a busy time of year. We've seen people do flu shot clinics, those types of things are all things that you can bring in and help people out. CPR classes, that is a public safety thing, but that's a benefit that is bringing people together and giving them, the ability to expand their skills and learn new things. So any types of those things. Now, just talking about, the gym memberships really quick, uh, just in general with all these perks, you want to think about the taxability of some of these things. Some of these things might necessitate you to add a taxable fringe benefit onto the employee's pay. So that's something to think about as well. Certainly things like gym memberships, those are not free that you can do. That's something you need to add as a taxable fringe benefit. So if you're doing yoga classes or anything like that, those also might be things that need to be added as a taxable fringe benefit. And then, of course, always encourage recognition. If you're using if you're white collar, you're using tools like Slack or Teams or anything like that. If you're a restaurant, if you have a scheduling platform or communication platform, don't be afraid to let everyone know what's going on when good things are happening. In our team meetings every week, we have a kind of a celebration. We kick things off. I want to hear the good things that are going on in your life, whether it's in the office or it's at home. Hey, your kid scored the winning goal at soccer. Wonderful. Or you bought a new house. Let's hear about it. I want to hear all about the new house, right? Especially in today's more remote workforce, bringing those people together is more and more important. And while there's no cost to that, giving that recognition is really key, and brings you closer together as an organization. So don't be afraid to do those types of things as well. Continuing on, things like financial wellness tools. So all of our clients have access to a suite of employee financial wellness tools. Things like Zayzoon, FinFit, Equifax, TurboTax. So Zayzoon is an earned wage access platform. Essentially, what that allows employees to do is collect their pay before payday. They can come in and say, "Hey, I need $50 because I need to go get gas. Payday's not till tomorrow." They can go take $50, get gas, and not have to worry about paying any interest or any loan terms. That's just deducted from their pay on the next payroll, and it works really well. It takes you as the employer out of that relationship of having to do those kind of small loans. I know, particularly in the blue collar fields, we see that a lot, and it's certainly a really good tool out there that employees really appreciate and use way more than I ever thought they would have. So that's something that's out there as well. FinFit's another financial wellness tool that's out there that allows for employees to do budgeting and planning on their own. They can look at their personal balance sheet, see how much debt they have. There's opportunities to look at debt consolidation. There's education on how debt works. All that stuff really gives them more tools to work with, and again, all free as well. So if we look at the Equifax integration that we offer, basically, if employees are going to buy a car on a Saturday and they're an employee that works for one of our clients, they have an integration. If that car dealership is using Equifax, they'll get an employment verification and wage verification instantly, so they don't have to go get their W-2 and their last three pay stubs and all of that stuff and provide that. And then the TurboTax integration is, basically you go in, you put your social and your employer's tax ID number, and because we have the integration, automatically fills in your W-2 data. And these things just make your life easier. Now, they cost nothing, but they make your employees' lives easier and better, and that makes a difference. So certainly having access to these tools is always important. There's a million other different types of tools you can offer as well, and we'll talk through some of those. But you know, flexible scheduling is key. Everyone wants flexible scheduling now. They want to be at their kids' soccer games. They want to go on vacation. They want to be able to go and live their lives when they need to live their lives. And we as employers are having more and more to have to figure out how to make that happen, which is certainly more difficult in production environments and resource heavy environments than in an office environment. But it's really important to figure out ways to do that, right? Are you able to do half days on certain days of the year, and so forth? All those things are really, really important. Try to find the flexibility with your team. I just had a quick question here. If you already use our platform, you have access to those. They get it through the app. Yes, the answer is yes to all of those. Zayzoon and FinFit are available in the app. They're icons in the app. They'll see them when they log in. They can use those today. Right now, it's live for everybody, unless you've specifically told us you don't want them turned on. Equifax and TurboTax live in the background, and those also are already turned on. And there's no real employee interaction that's needed from those. So unless they're going to be using TurboTax or they're going to be purchasing a vehicle or going to get a loan or something like that, they'll have no real interaction with those. Those work securely on the back end. So, is there the ability to look at hybrid work or remote work? Right. I mean, that's something that everybody wants these days. People want to be able to work from home if they can. Now, certainly, if you're the line cook, you're the nurse, you're the school teacher, those may not always be possible. But certainly, again, looking at that flexibility, how can you make that work, throughout the organization? Pet friendly. This is a double-edged sword. People generally like pets. I don't think you want to have a zoo going on in your office or your workplace. And again, certainly not applicable everywhere. Certainly, again, you're in the restaurant, you can't be bringing your dog to work. But these are things that people are looking for, right? Bring your pets to work. I love my dog. I personally don't bring him to work because he's a little rambunctious, and I don't want him getting into everybody's business and trash and so forth. But we do have, there have been days where, hey, gosh, the dog had surgery, and can I bring the dog in and sit in my office with me for the day so he's not home alone? Sure, we have that flexibility. Are those things you can do? Obviously, especially Gen Z folks are really much more socially conscious about their companies. And what does that look like? Certainly offering community service or paid time off for volunteering. The ability to participate in those types of things is more and more important to certain folks. And then similarly, are you matching charitable contributions? Are you saying, hey, if you donate to United Way, we will donate to United Way? Those again make a difference. It's not necessarily something that the employee is receiving a benefit on, but it might be a cause that's important to them. On these last two, we offer an add-on which is completely free to iSolved called Giving and Volunteering, which allows you as an organization to track those volunteer hours. So certainly, if that's something from your social responsibility standpoint you want to do, we can help you track those hours and for what organizations. So at the end of the year, you can say, "Hey, my company gave 1,000 hours of volunteer time to all these organizations." There's also the ability through that uh, giving and volunteering application where employees can make charitable contributions directly from their checks to hundreds of different organizations of their choosing. And there's the ability to do matches if you want. So we have some tools that can help you with those types of social responsibility type things. And again, the younger generations in particular really want the recognition for this type of activity. Certainly any type of health and other types of add-ons, are seeing a lot more of those voluntary accident insurance type plans, things like the AFLAX accident disability program, excuse me, the cancer programs, all those types of things are pretty low cost. 99% of the time, those are employee paid plans. Those are not plans that the employer is ever contributing to. But they're pretty low cost to have those AFLAC type plans. And again, you just have to offer them. You don't have to really do much with them. Other things, basic life insurance, it's very affordable for you to offer a very low cost life insurance. And even if it's a $10,000 policy, that covers funeral expenses. And for some employees, that is huge, right? And the cost of that is very small. You certainly can up that. You can give access to other life insurance programs, buy ups and all that kind of stuff. But just having any access or any company paid programs is nice. And again, the cost on these is really low. Certainly, pet insurance is really important. We talked about those pets. That's a new one that's out there. A lot of employers are getting in the middle of, and that's something that, again, low cost, not necessarily something you have to even pay for as well. It's just you have to give them the opportunity to participate in that. Interestingly, I mean, pets are important, are super expensive. I had a vet appointment yesterday, just a regular checkup with the prescriptions was $300. So anything you can do to reduce that is certainly is effective. So employee assistance programs or wellness programs, right? So we've seen clients who have wellness consultants or wellness programs in their facilities. We have employee assistance programs where they can call in if they're having issues in their lives. That removes you from being the therapist, or the life coach. You can certainly use those. A lot of times, these types of employee assistance programs, wellness programs, may already be embedded in your other benefits. So ask your benefits broker, with that life plan or with that disability plan, do we get an employee assistance plan? I know with our short-term disability, long-term disability that we offer, we have access to an employee assistance program. It's already included, and I make that available to our team. Similarly, with the life insurance plan that we offer, that company will help you create a basic will. It'll help you with funeral planning and so forth if you want. Certainly, sometimes as morbid as that sound, estate planning is really important, and having a resource to do that for free, where you can kind of get together, create that, have it certified, reviewed by an attorney. I remember when I did my first will way back when, it was $600 to the attorney. My employees have that for free, and that's already included in the insurance plan that we offer. So again, ask your insurance broker what perks are included in the programs we already offer. So that's something to think about as well. There are a couple of new programs out there called the QSERA, which is a qualified small business HRA health reimbursement account, and then there's the ICRA. We're seeing the QSERA phase away. Basically, what these allow for is for you as an employer to provide tax-free reimbursements for employees who want to go get health insurance on the marketplace. So instead of using a group health plan where we know it's all super expensive, you can tell your employees, I'm going to give you uh, X amount of dollars per month, $400 a month. You then, under the ICRA program, we're seeing the QSERA kind of go away. It's designed largely for under 50 employee companies, and it also has some dollar limits on it. So the QSERA is kind of going by the wayside. But the ICRA was created in 2021 in one of the COVID bills and basically allows you to reimburse employees tax-free if they go out in the marketplace and buy that coverage. So it is something you have to offer to everybody, similar to a group plan, but you can do it based on specific classes or age groups or things like that. And the nice thing about the ICRA is there's no maximum contribution. So with the QSERA, I think it was about 3,500 bucks a year is the max you could give. Well, we certainly know health insurance that goes really fast. So the ICRA is a program that you can look into that allows you to think differently about how you're offering benefits. And again, it basically says, if Susie, who's 25, wants to go get a $300 plan, they get covered 100%. But if Susie wants to have a zero deductible plan and it costs 600 bucks, they get $400 tax free and they cover the difference. Just it's a little bit more flexible uh, in a lot of ways, but it definitely changes the responsibility from the employer to the employee, and that's definitely requires a lot of education. So the nice thing about the ICRA is it is ACA compatible. So if you offer ICRA coverage and you are over 50 full-time equivalents, you are off the hook. Well, not off the hook, you still have to do ACA reporting, but you have met the ACA requirements for that, which is really nice as well. So certainly we have a couple of companies that we work with that offer ICRAs. A lot of benefits brokers are now offering ICRAs as well or access to ICRAs because certainly, I mean, I'm sick and tired of getting those 10 to 15% benefits increases every year. So people are looking at different ways to make this work. So other different things, kind of education related types of things. Don't forget to be offering your employees education, opportunities for advancements, online courses. All that stuff is generally low cost. You can offer a Section 127 plan, what's called. You can offer up to 5,250 a year tax free for tuition or uh, student loan repayment assistance. So 5,250 a year you can give to your employees tax free for tuition or student loan repayment assistance. And that is certainly something that we're seeing a lot of folks, especially in those white collar roles, we're seeing that happen. Folks have a lot of student loan debt, and employers are looking at ways to help them. This is a new one, student loan repayment match. So I have not seen anyone do this yet. This is new under Secure 2.0. I honestly have no idea how the mechanics of this would work, but employers can elect to treat employee student loan repayments. So if an employee, even outside of, anything to do with the employer, if they are making payments on their student loan, they can submit to the employer to receive a match in their 401k based on that. So instead of essentially a lot of people will say, I can't afford to contribute to my retirement because I have so much student loan debt. What you could do is you could say, okay, I paid $3,000 in student loan debt. I want my 3% or 4% or 5% match on my 401k on that money that I paid so that I'm still getting some benefit of the retirement while I'm paying down my student loan debt. Again, I've not seen anybody do this. I don't know how the mechanics of this would work. If it's something you're interested in, talk to your financial advisor, talk to your third party administrator. But it's certainly something new out there and a different way to help your employees manage their, past debt repayment and future retirement needs. Certainly, 529 plans have been around for a long time. A lot of financial advisors will help employees get those set up so that they can be saving for their children's educational expenses and so forth. The really nice thing about the 529 plans, again, this is a Secure 2.0 change, is now that if your kid gets to school, gets to college and they don't want to go to college or they're just going to go to a community college and say they got $50,000 in that savings account that they're never going to use, you can roll, I think it's about up to $30,000 a year over into a Roth IRA. So it's not going to ever get lost now, whereas it used to. It used to trigger a taxable event. Now you can roll over up to a certain amount, at that time when they don't need it into a Roth IRA. So instead of taking it from the education piece, it now goes into a retirement plan for that child and really is a new nice feature from Secure 2.0. Certainly, we think about supporting our employees and their families. That's always really important. I've heard of a few folks that have baby at work programs or flexible return to work planning. Seen people offer, part-time work, come back to work for a few days a week in the interim. We all know childcare is expensive and trying to facilitate, particularly for newborns. How do you manage that? Family leave. We now have paid family leave in the state of Maine and in many other states. So that makes a difference, but there could be private plans that have better benefits to think about. Certainly, lactation rooms are a requirement in the state of Maine for certain businesses. If you're offering nursing support, those are other options as well. Here's one that we did a couple of years ago. Now you can offer a dependent care flexible spending account. So employees, again, I think it's about 3,500 bucks a year. Employees can put away 3,500 bucks a year to use for dependent care expenses. And those could include childcare, summer camp, elder care, babysitters, summer camp, all those types of things are considered allowable expenses under that dependent care FSA. You can also use it for elder care. So if you're caring for a parent and they need to go to adult daycare for a day, you could use that. Or you need to bring in-home care in, you could use that. So we were having an issue where a lot of our employees in the summer in particular were having a hard time paying for those summer day camps, or after school care, before school care. So we started offering the dependent care FSA. Personally, we put an amount in there for those employees that contribute. We match up to a certain point. You don't have to do that. You could just provide the benefit, and that's pre-tax. So they can put 35, I think it's about 3,500 bucks a year into that pre-tax, and you could choose to contribute or not. So certainly, we've seen that. Some larger organizations we've seen create daycares, or we've seen a couple of the hospitality businesses I know here in town. One of the hotels offered space, and they hired a childcare provider, and they offer daycare to other organizations in the community because daycare is so hard to come by. So, they're not making any money on that as a business, but they're trying to find ways to get their employees to work, and get them, to not have to worry about those childcare issues. PTO again kind of goes with that flexible scheduling. How do you manage your PTO? Certainly in the state of Maine, we have mandatory PTO, Maine earned paid leave. You have to provide up to 40 hours a year for every employee. But is there something you can do? Unlimited PTO. Are there better plans based on years of service? Are there different structures of that? Holidays, all of those types of things. We're seeing a lot of folks offer sabbaticals at milestone years. So, gosh, you've worked for a company for 10 years, maybe you need to take a break, right? You go take a month off or whatever. That we're seeing more and more as well, so that folks don't get burnt out and they can continue to be successful. Encourage that PTO use, right? I mean, we look at PTO oftentimes as an inconvenience as an employer, but really, I mean, I can tell you when I go on vacation, I go away for a week and I come back, I'm refreshed, I'm recharged. Oftentimes I'm thinking about work, but I'm a business owner. I'm coming back with different ideas, and a fresh head. I'm no longer burnt out. So encourage those people to take time off. Encourage people to share their vacation stories. I know we have an employee who's on a cruise, and I can't wait to come back and say, hey, how was it? What did you think? We have a couple other people that want to go on a cruise. Did you like that cruise line? Didn't you like that cruise line? Use those opportunities to help everybody else as well. Thinking about those traditional investment vehicles, so certainly, the 401k is probably one of the most powerful investment vehicles that businesses have. Certainly, there's other types of plans, the simple IRAs, the SEP IRAs, but with a 401k, you can offer enhanced matches. You can do sharing, profit sharing. You can do all sorts of things on there that you should talk to your financial advisor about and really figure out the way to best benefit your employees in that. There's other plans, non-qualified deferred compensation plans, defined contribution plans, things like pensions. Those are really old school type benefits, but they are things that you can do. They get expensive, but if you're looking to add better retirement benefits, you can certainly look at that as well. So a lot of businesses now are paying their financial advisors, or even a lot of financial advisors and retirement companies are offering free financial planning, retirement advice for employees. I know included in our 401k, our financial advisor offers to meet with everyone at least once a year. There's also enhanced guidance through our 401k company, through Empower. So certainly lots and lots and lots of options. Again, those things are already included in the products that we're offering and are available for you. Ask your financial advisor, ask your retirement providers about those. Other different types of things, different incentives, right? In the state of Maine, we hear a lot about these ESOPs, the employee stock ownership plans. These have become really interesting and really powerful in succession planning for business owners. Basically, a business owner may want to retire, and rather than selling it to another person or private equity or anything like that, they turn it over to the employees. And that really essentially, it creates an even stronger retirement vehicle for employees to, continue to grow. So when they retire, they essentially cash out their ownership in the business. And that really is, again, a huge benefit because all the profits from that business accrue over time and all the employees share in that. So it's a really interesting model and one we've particularly seen used a lot here in the state of Maine. Again, career paths, are all certainly, really important. We talked about those mentorships, development plans, recognizing those milestones and achievements. I mean, we have an employee with 20 years of service. No, I didn't offer her a watch or anything like that, but, even acknowledging that, all that kind of stuff is really important. Encouraging people to take ownership and have autonomy in that, all different things to really think about. So obviously, we've talked about a lot today. Think about your business and your organization and what you think you value. How does that match with your culture? Ask your employees, right? I mean, again, we ran into childcare issues, and they were telling me that, hey, I've got childcare issues, and that's where we went with the dependent care plan. Really think about that. Ask your employees what they want and what they can use. Don't go spend money on something or time or energy if they don't care, right? Or isn't going to fit with your values or culture. So really think about those things as you are going. Certainly, we've got lots of resources available to you as always. This presentation John will get it posted tomorrow morning on our YouTube channel. So check that out. It's also on the website. Always on social media. We're always talking about these types of things. You can always go look at all of our webinars on the website, papertrails.com/webinars. We're actually sliding another webinar in next month. So we're going to have two next month. The next one we have is, because it's a little bit timely, we've had a lot of questions about this. We're calling it From I-9 to ICE, what every employer needs to know about foreign hires. We're going to talk about those, visa requirements, visa types, taxability of those visas, how to make sure you're in compliance with I-9 forms using E-Verify. One of the questions is, unfortunately, we had a client who had ICE show up at their facility. What do you do when that happens, right? So this is a little timely right now, and we're adding that in June 4th at 2 o'clock. So go ahead and register for that if you're interested in that as well. We'll talk a lot more. And then certainly our normal our normal webinar next month, I believe, is reporting, iSolve reporting, and that'll be the third Tuesday. So, but the next one, we'll talk about that kind of foreign worker compliance. So happy to answer any questions or go over anything. I do have a question. Is there a nonprofit version of an ESOP? So not formally that I'm aware of, right? There's no profits that come from that nonprofit world. But what, you would want to give ownership to that because nonprofits are taxed in all sorts of different ways. But that doesn't mean you can't create sort of incentive compensation programs based on that, right? If you have a budget of $1 million and you only spend 900,000 and you have the money, is there a way to split that among your employees or whatever? There's certainly different ways to incentivize your employees in that way. And certainly it could be through one of those retirement vehicles. If you're using a 403B or 401k type program, talk to your financial advisor, but maybe there's a way to put more money into that retirement program, whether it's through a match or an employer contribution. So there's different types of things you can do with each of different policies. So any other questions or certainly we're always available. We're happy to chat and reach out to us anytime. Learn more. We're happy to make introductions. Certainly we don't offer a lot of access to a lot of these benefits, but we know people that do. So we're happy to make introductions. If you want to learn more about creating an ESOP, I've got people that I know can do that, right? If you want to be looking at ICRAs or thinking like that, or you need help with any of those types of things, creating good policies or better culture, we do. Danielle is our HR consultant on the team. She's fabulous. She can help you with some of those cultural type things, developing those to better suit your organization as well. So lots of resources. We're always happy to help. But not seeing any more questions, but certainly always feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll see you in a couple of weeks on that foreign worker webinar, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Have a good afternoon.